Assalamualaikum and very good evening. How are you, student? Okay, today we will discuss on chapter 5 regarding estimation. Uh, in any project, uh, it will not run away from the estimation. Yeah, even when you want to, if you want to go to university, yeah, to take a computer science degree, so your parent will estimate how much cost uh, it will incur for you during the 3 years studies in the university. So they will estimate how much the cost for you, maybe for your brother or your sister and so on. So although the estimation is not accurate, but at least you have some figure to know how much cost that you will cover for certain period of study of their children, yeah, in the university or in the school. Okay, this video will cover the introduction of the software project estimation, benefit of estimation, software estimation process, uh, software effort estimation technique, how we know the estimate correct, and some tips to manage time and budget pressure. So when you manage the project, even any project, so you cannot run away from the uh, budget and time pressure, especially the time. Yeah. Uh, Even you conduct, let's say you become a floor manager for a wedding uh, for your brother or for your sister. So it is a budget pressure. Yeah. It it is a budget pressure for you to manage the wedding wedding festival for your brother or your sister. Yeah. uh, so you must estimate that how much the cost for food and how much the cost for the infrastructure, uh, such as tents, the music, PA system, and etc. Okay, the estimation uh, definition is an assessment of quantitative results. Yeah. So when you talk about estimation, so you will expect a figure will come out from the process of estimation. Let's say you estimate the wedding festival for your brother. So after you calculate the number of audience, number of relative and so on, yeah, the number of tent to be used, the orchestra, for example, yeah, the helper and so on. So it come to one figure, let's say 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 ringgit. Okay, when you manage a project, software project, it is not about the cost, yeah. So you need to estimate the resources, how many resources that you require in terms of human resource, how many staff you require. So at the end of the estimation, so you will get the number of staff to be involved in the project. Another estimation that you when you get the requirement, yeah, the overall requirement, then you start to calculate when uh, when the system to be can be delivered. Yeah, within 6 months, within 12 months, or within 18 months. Okay, so this is also a quantitative result, the value. Okay, So you need to translate, in terms of the number of staff, in terms of cost, in terms of effort, yeah. And then another estimation that you need in the software projects is uh, the cost for hardware and software. Yeah. So let's say you require 1,000 PCs. Yeah. You require 10 uh, high-end server. You require network point, yeah, host point, and etc. So at the end of the estimation, you will get the numbers. Yeah. So that called quantitative result. Yeah. So estimate include effort, schedule, and cost. This is I already mentioned. And good estimate consists of description of the project scope, example, number of use cases involved in your system, yeah, in your projects, how much the cost, okay, how many people involved. Yeah, let's say you want to produce, how many man hours you require to produce the SRS, for example. Yeah, how many hours you require to complete the system test, for example. Okay, so that is a number, involved number. Yeah, estimation involved number. Okay, the benefit of estimation. So what is the benefit of the estimation? So to the benefit of estimation is it can quantitatively define your success or failure. Okay, so if you fail to estimate, so how you want to measure the success of your project. So let's say you don't have any estimation regarding your project A, for example. Okay, you don't know when to finish. So then you don't know when you fail or you success, right? And you don't know where to spend the money or spend the budget, because you don't know how much budget required for your projects. So without estimation, you cannot measure your success. You will success or you will fail. Yeah. And estimation will can measure your improvement or degradation. Yeah. Uh, you don't know whether you are behind of the schedule or ahead of schedule. Yeah. So because you don't have a milestone, you don't have a, a benchmarking point. Yeah. You don't have uh, you cannot balance and then you don't have a checkpoint where you are when you run the project. And also the benefit of estimation is to make meaningful and useful managerial and technical decision. Yeah. So when you estimate, normally when we do the estimation, we will produce more than one estimation. Okay. Let's say you have plan A estimation, plan B estimation, or plan C estimation. Yeah. Let's say if you want to bid some, you want to bidding some project. Yeah. So you should have various plan in term of costing, for example. Okay. If the customer not happy with the plan A, then you have a plan B. If they don't happy with plan B, so you give a plan C. And then estimation help to identify a trend. Yeah. So when you do the estimation, of course you will involve the research. You will search through the internet, for example. You will explore some of the projects, previous project involved in the government, for example, involved in certain agency. So you study the lesson learned, from the project, whether the project is fail or success, and how the project can be failed, why the project can be success, and so on. So when you do an estimation, you will get a lot of information. You will do research, then from the research, a lot of information will be discovered. Okay, number three, where the estimate are done, di mana estimate boleh berlaku. So the estimation normally can be done during the business modeling. Before the project is started, normally the project team, the core project team will do the business analysis. Normally we name it as like a feasibility study. So during the feasibility study, we can estimate the project cost. Okay, so that called feasible or feasibility study, whether the project is feasible to continue or not to be continued. Okay, so this phase got a lot of estimation. We will estimate the cost incurred, the number of resources, the benefit in terms of tangible or intangible. Tangible means in terms of dollar and cent. Intangible means when we create this project, so we can hire a lot of staff. People can involve in the project, and they will get the skill is intangible. And then we can grow our own generation, with the new technology. They will learn like LRT, plus project. So a lot of young engineer develop from these projects. For example, in ICT we have a flagship ICT uh, during the Mahathir era. A lot of ICT project in Cyberjaya. So we develop a lot of good programmer, a good software engineer from the project. So that called intangible. Another place where we can estimate is a requirement analysis. When you do requirement analysis, of course you know the number of requirement. Okay, let's say you got 100 requirement, then you can estimate how long you how much time you require to complete 100 requirement. Okay, and then another place or another phase where you can estimate is a analysis and design, especially on the design part. So when you do design, you know how complexity of the system. So you know what is the real problem if we want to proceed with the A technology, for example, or we want to proceed with B technology, for example. So from that, we discover a lot of challenges. So challenges can be uh, converted into the time and effort. And then another place where you can estimate is during development of the application. So during the development, there are a lot of trial and error. There are a lot of things that the programmer will learn. Some of the expert programmer also stuck in the middle, so they will learn and then they will discover the problem. So from that, we can estimate the time period of the project. And then the lastly is a testing. So during the testing, or in the testing phases, so we can estimate the project duration, especially when we can deploy in actual date or time. Yeah. So testing got a lot of challenging. Yeah. Uh, for example, during the software development, we need to do unit testing, right? So the programmer will do the unit testing, and this is a challenge of programming stage where uh, they have to do debugging, yeah, troubleshoot, and etc. So by involved in the testing, uh, because testing got a lot of stage, yeah, unit testing, and after finish the unit testing, you will go to the system testing plus integration testing, yeah, where you will integrate uh, between module, yeah, between different module, and between different division develop that module, or between different team, yeah, develop the module. So you can see that there are a lot of mismatch of the parameter, for example, mismatch of requirement, yeah, between one module to another module, yeah, and the system testing maybe will drag, yeah, due to the incompatibility, yeah, in term of in-portability, and etc. Okay, then after system testing, you need to go to user acceptance testing, yeah, and then after user acceptance testing, you need to go to another stage, they call it idiot testing, yeah. So there are a lot of process involved in the testing, and you can take this information for your uh, estimation of the software project. So what are the steps involved in the estimation? First, you need to estimate the size, yeah. Normally, to estimate the size of the program or project, so normally we refer to the source line of code of program. So this is based on the previous language, generation, third generation language. Nowadays, I think it's a fifth or sixth generation language. So we cannot count the line of code, because the recent type of language, they build in they build uh, the certain API, yeah, using certain programming language, and then we cannot count the number of line. So this is very difficult for recent programming language. So this is I think very appropriate for the third generation language of programming computer, of the computer programming language. So estimate size we can base on the primarily on historical data and past experience. So the size of the uh, application, normally we can take from the experience, yeah, from the past experience. So this one we cannot explain in word, but when you involve in the software project for a long time, so you know that how long for one module can be completed, yeah. So this is a magic for experienced uh, people. So another step involved in the estimation is you estimate the schedule. So this is very important element. Schedule uh, will measure your success or failure. let's say you estimate 6 months, then you finish 7 months, so you consider late to deliver the software. Okay, so what you need to do during the estimate schedule, you determine the length needed to complete the project. Yeah, so of course you will have to calculate each of the module and become the project timeline. And then you determine major milestone, consider review, training, deployment process. Okay, this can be derived uh, from the project what do you call it, project schedule. Yeah, when you define the task and you assign the resources and you estimate the start and end date for each of the tasks. Okay, another step involved in the estimation, you estimate the cost and effort. Of course you need to estimate the effort first and then it come the cost. Yeah, let's say the labor cost. Yeah, how many permanent staff, how many consultant you require, how many contract staff. Because this type of staff will get a different salary. Yeah, and then after you estimate the cost, and then you need to inspect and get the approval from your super boss. Yeah? How you want to get the approval, so you need to present and get the consensus from them. And after you finish the after you finish to get the approval from the top management, so you need to execute the budget. You need to execute your project, and of course you need to implement the estimation that you have done, that already approved by your super manager. So once the project is running, so you need to track the estimation, or you need to track the uh, project in term of budget, in term of human resource, uh, in term of timeline. Yeah? The deadline for every milestone. Okay, so what you need to do during the tracking process, you need to check the accuracy of estimate over time, develop empirical data over time. Yeah, uh, every month or every 2 week you need to collect the input from the team member. So what is the source of the reference to estimate the software? So of course you cannot dream and then the estimation is come out. Yeah, no way. So you need reference, or you need the resources, or you need a source of information for you to build the estimation, for you to uh, produce an effective estimation. Firstly, you need to refer the historical data. What does it mean of historical data? The previous project. Yeah, the previous success of the project, the previous fail of the project. So refer on the uh, artifact, especially on the project plan. Yeah, how the previous project manage the software project, how they manage uh, the budget effectively, how they manage the uh, staff. Yeah, how they manage the user, and etc. Secondly, what is the source of reference? So you need to measure of work of staff. Yeah, implementation time may different depending on competency and experience of the programmer. So you have to measure your staff especially during the appraisal time. Yeah, appraisal time, uh, appraisal period nowadays can be done uh, 3 times per year. Yeah, every 4 months. So we need to assess. Yeah, we need to measure the KPI of the staff. So from that, we know that okay, staff A is excellent, staff B is moderate, staff C is uh, need to improve. Okay, from that you can estimate uh, the timeline, the timeline for each of the tasks given to your staff. Okay, another source of reference. So you need to measure the complexity of the application. That's why measure of the complexity is interrelated to the historical data. So how you want to measure the complexity without gone through the process of software development process? So you need to uh, check with the previous project, then you can know that which module is normally complex, which no module which is normally can be done in quick. Yeah, so from that information, so it is easy for you to estimate. Yeah, so what is the software estimation technique? So when you do the estimation, so you need to know the technique how to estimate. Okay, first is a bottom up estimation. Bottom up means when you draw the I give you an example. Okay, let's say this is a 3 module. Yeah, yeah, from the bottom. Then you have another second level. Yeah, so this is level 1, and this level 2, this level 2, this is level 2, level 2, this is level 1. Okay, and it become a complete system. So we start from the bottom. Yeah, and then we build the second level, and we create uh, the whole system, and become the whole system. Yeah, so this is let's say this is project A. So it start from the bottom to top. Yeah, and another technique is a top to bottom. That means from the top, I mean from top, then you start second level and the bottom level. Yeah, from here to here. Okay, bottom up from down to up, from bottom to up. Yeah, okay. So another technique is expert judgment. So this is referring to the experience. Rely on one or more people who consider expert in certain problem. So you need to refer to the experienced uh, people who can drive the software project successfully. Yeah. Uh, Sometimes people said that the field person cannot be referred. So this is wrong. Uh, when you manage a project which is failed, a lot of thing that people learn. Yeah. So sometimes we cannot say that the best student is come from the boarding school, because boarding school is different, the environment is different. Yeah, they got very good and very conducive study environment compared to the rural area school. Yeah, they have to walk to the school, sometime 1 mile or 2 miles. Yeah, it took about 1 hour to walk to the school, and some of the student, they don't get enough food. Yeah, no breakfast. Yeah, and then they come back to house, another 1 hour to walk, and after reach the in the house, they have to help their parent uh, to sell the kuih muih, for example. Yeah, go to plantation and etc. So this is uh, the difference between the boarding school and rural uh, student, rural area of school. Okay, so when you refer to the only for the success project manager only, so you cannot learn from the perspective of people who manage the project which fail. Yeah, so when you fail, you learn a lot of things. When you fail, I think you got different angle of looking on the problem that you will face. Yeah, so refer the expert, not only for not only from the failed project, and not only from the success project, but please refer to the failed project as well. Okay, and then another technique is estimation by analogy. You compare, yeah, between proposed and completed project. So this also relate to the historical data. Okay, so this is another technique. They call it optimistic time, pessimistic time, and most likely time. So this is the formula. Yep. TE, they call it the time estimation, uh, is optimistic time plus 4 time, most likely time plus P, pessimistic time, divide by 6. Yeah, so you need to memorize this formula. Yeah, so during the exam we will not provide this formula. So this is an example of pessimistic expected time or time estimation technique. TE, time estimate. So this is O, this is M, and then you take this one, this figure, and then you put or you run this formula, then you will get this expected time. Okay, so another technique is COCOMO. So I never use this technique during my industrial time. Normally we base on the experience. Yeah, another technique is function point analysis. Okay, so you can read by yourself on this one. And then how do you know estimate are correct? Actually you don't. So what you need to do is to get a pool of experience. Yeah, not a swimming pool. So pool of experience, talk to colleague, past experience, and share with them, create the networking group on the projects, on the managing of project, software project. Yeah, so you can learn and you can share, you can ask, you can anything you can share with your peer. So what you need to do to get the estimate at least 80% above correct. So break the your system into small tasks, yeah, to get comfortable estimation. So you cannot, let's say if you compare to bake a big size of bread compared to the small size of braid is different. Yeah. So a big braid maybe will get bad braid. Yeah. Because you cannot estimate the time to finish to bake the bread. And if the bread is small, so you can measure easily. Yeah, that analogy that I can give to you. And to be safe, you need to add 20% of contingency. Meaning 20% means you, let's say you estimate the SRS, okay, can be finished in 2 months, for example. So you add 20% from the 2 months. Yeah, 20% from the 2 month means 60 days, for example. So you add 20%. So you roughly you rough 12 days, for example. Yeah. Or let's say SDD. So you add 20%. Add 20%. Okay. So this contingency plan is very useful for managing sometimes the unfamiliar technology. Yeah. Or your staff got low skill level. So this can help you to cover, and you have a buffer time to complete your project. Okay, this one you can read by yourself. Okay, this is a sample that I normally implement it when I manage the project. So this is crude but successful a guide. Yeah. Normally I add 20% from the estimation, original estimation task. Yeah. So we add 20% in planning, 15% in coding, 15% in testing, 20% in full system test, 20% in preparing the documentation, training, and 10% overall project management. Okay, so I give you an example here. Let's say 15% out of 365 days, so we add 54.5 days in coding stage only. So this one is not the what we call it apple to apple to compare. No, you need to customize it. When you look at the time period is so long, then you need to reduce it. Yeah, you can reduce in planning, you can reduce in coding, or you increase in testing and etc. Okay, is there another better way? There are, but not no better. Okay, and you need to careful on rumors. Yeah. uh, Very difficult to estimate, but because too many variable. eh, uh, Example, a programming language, you need to consider the programming language used in the project, requirement, tool, skill, machine, people, and management. Sometimes the management change, the top management change, then the direction is changed. So very difficult. And some alternative is use the Kokomo, but I don't like to use Kokomo. I better use the experience technique how to estimate, and then based on the database of experience. So you refer to the experience project. If you gone through, this is frankly speaking, if you gone through the software development life cycle for one or three projects, and then after that uh, you will answer like this. Okay, so it's very easy. So but you need to monitor, or you need to manage a project from the beginning until the end, then you learn a lot. Yeah. That's why when you talk about SDLC, I cannot uh, frankly speaking, that I can describe to you without referring to the book. Yeah. So some tip to manage time and budget pressure: go for phase. If budget insufficient, deliver few functionalities, challenge the requirement, reduce the requirement, simplify the requirement, get user to prioritize, and sign off. Yeah, and quality not inversely proportional to the productivity. Uh, Time pressure is not excuse. So wherever you go, time pressure is there. Yeah. Although you want to, if you want to go back, then it's a time pressure. Let's say you want to reach to your house uh, at 6 o'clock in KL, for example. So you got time pressure. Yeah, you will face with the traffic jam, horn there, horn here, and blah blah. Uh, so time pressure cannot be excused. Whenever wherever you go, when you manage the project, the pressure is there. Okay, in summary, early submission will result in greater accuracy, and best way to make estimation is based on a database of experience. So this is a advice that I can give. Refer to the experienced people, refer to your database of experience. So this will help a lot. Yeah. Okay, class. That's it for chapter 5. Uh, so thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and see you later.